The invasion of Sindh by Muhammad bin Qasim was part of the larger expansionist policies of the Umayyad Caliphate, which sought to extend its rule into the Indian subcontinent. The immediate cause of the invasion was an incident involving Arab traders and pirates along the coast of Debal, near present-day Karachi. A ship carrying gifts and Muslim widows and orphans sent by the King of Ceylon, Sri Lanka, to the Caliph was looted by pirates in the region controlled by the local ruler, Raja Dahir. The failure to secure the release of the captives led the Umayyad governor of Iraq, Hajjaj bin Yusuf, to order a military expedition against Sindh. The year is 695 CE. Muhammad bin Qasim is born in the city of Taif, a place known for its fertile valleys and strategic trade routes. As a child, he grows up in the shadow of his powerful uncle, Hajjaj bin Yusuf, a ruthless governor known for his iron-fisted rule. Hajjaj, feared and revered, sees potential in his nephew, a sharp mind, a steady hand, and an unyielding ambition. By the age of 17, Muhammad bin Qasim is appointed as a general. He is young, confident, and driven by a desire to expand the glory of the Umayyad Caliphate. When news reaches Hajjaj that a ship carrying gifts and Muslim captives has been looted by pirates near the coast of Sindh, the governor sees an opportunity, not just for justice, but for conquest. And so, Muhammad bin Qasim is entrusted with an army of 6,000 cavalry, infantry, and siege equipment. His orders are clear: punish the defiance of Sindh and bring its riches to the caliphate. The first target is Debal, a thriving port city near present-day Karachi. Debal is known for its towering temple with a massive red flag fluttering atop, a beacon to travelers and a symbol of faith to the locals. But to Muhammad bin Qasim, it is a challenge, one he intends to crush. The siege begins. War drums beat like thunder, arrows rain down like a storm, siege engines hurl massive stones at the city walls, shaking the earth. The defenders of Debal fight bravely, but they are no match for the relentless assault. When the walls crumble, Muhammad bin Qasim's forces pour into the city. Streets are filled with chaos, cries of fear, the clash of steel, the scent of burning wood and blood. The grand temple is razed, its statues shattered, its gold and jewels looted. Innocents, men, women, and children, are slaughtered or taken as slaves. The city that once stood proud is reduced to ashes and silence. Muhammad bin Qasim then sets his sights on Raja Dahir, the ruler of Sindh, a man of unyielding courage, descended from a lineage that had held these lands for centuries. Dahir knows the storm that approaches. He stands at the edge of the Indus River, his eyes blazing with defiance. The air is heavy with tension, the sun a fiery orb casting long shadows on the battlefield. He climbs atop his majestic war elephant, a towering symbol of royal pride and determination. His golden banner, emblazoned with his family crest, flutters defiantly in the wind. The battle begins. The sky darkens with clouds of arrows, and the earth trembles beneath the charge of cavalry. The clash is ferocious. Swords clash with a metallic screech, spears whistle through the air, and cries of the wounded pierce the chaos. The riverbank turns into a churning sea of blood and dust. Dahir's voice rises above the din, rallying his men with a roar that carries generations of honor and resistance. His elephant charges, crushing enemy soldiers underfoot, scattering them like dry leaves. But treachery is a poison that seeps silently. Some of his trusted commanders falter, their loyalty corroded by fear or greed. Confusion spreads through his ranks like wildfire. The proud lines of Sindhi warriors break apart. Panic sets in. Dahir fights on, his eyes wild, his sword flashing like lightning. He refuses to retreat, his resolve as unyielding as the mountains of his homeland. A final surge from Muhammad bin Qasim's forces overwhelms the defenders. In the swirl of chaos and treachery, Dahir is struck down, his body collapsing like a felled tree. His blood mingles with the river, a river that now carries away the dreams of a fallen kingdom. The golden banner, once proud, lies trampled in the dust, a silent witness to the end of an era. With Dahir's death, a shudder runs through the heart of Sindh. The gates of its ancient cities, Brahmanabad, Alor and Multan, swing open not with pride but with the creaking sound of submission. The land, once vibrant with culture and faith, now lies vulnerable before the invaders' relentless march. Multan, the famed city of gold, stands as a gleaming symbol of devotion and prosperity, its sun temple, an architectural wonder that has witnessed centuries of faith, art, and culture. The temple's golden spires reflect the blazing sun, drawing pilgrims from far and wide who come to seek blessings and leave offerings of unimaginable wealth. Precious stones, rubies, sapphires, emeralds, glimmer in the niches of the temple walls, while intricately carved statues of deities, adorned in gold leaf, seem to come alive in the flickering lamplight. As Muhammad bin Qasim's forces descend upon Multan, the city's defenders brace themselves, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and resolve. The air fills with the acrid scent of burning wood and the desperate cries of those preparing for the inevitable siege. War drums echo ominously, a relentless rhythm heralding the storm that is about to break. The assault begins with a deafening roar. Siege engines launch boulders that crash into the city walls, sending shockwaves through the earth. The once unyielding gates splinter under the relentless pounding. Soldiers pour into the streets, swords flashing, eyes wild with the lust for conquest. The defenders fight valiantly, but the tide is unstoppable. Blood stains the cobblestones, and screams of anguish rise to the heavens. Finally, the invaders reach the Sun Temple, a sanctuary that has stood for centuries as a beacon of hope and reverence. The temple doors, carved with the images of ancient gods, are battered down with ruthless efficiency. Muhammad bin Qasim's men storm the inner sanctum, where the air is thick with the scent of incense and the glow of sacred flames. The desecration begins. Gold idols, meticulously crafted by generations of artisans, are hacked to pieces. Statues that once inspired awe are reduced to shattered fragments. Jewels are torn from their settings with brutal hands, their brilliance now tainted with violence. The treasury, filled with offerings of gold coins and ceremonial ornaments, is plundered without mercy. Each clang of metal, each crash of a falling idol, shatters the temple's sanctity a little more. The cries of the priests and devotees who stand helplessly watching the destruction of their sacred space are drowned out by the clamor of looting. Sacred scrolls are trampled underfoot, their ancient wisdom lost forever in the chaos. The once holy grounds where prayers and chants once resonated now echo with the sounds of destruction and despair. In mere hours, centuries of devotion and culture are obliterated. The sanctity of Multan, the city of gold, is defiled beyond recognition. The invaders leave behind a hollow shell of what was once a thriving center of faith and prosperity, its spirit crushed under the weight of greed and conquest. But arrogance has a price? Back in the caliphate, power shifts. Caliph al-Walid Thamam dies, and his brother Suleiman ibn Abd al-Malik ascends the throne. Suleiman harbors a deep hatred for Hajjaj bin Yusuf, the man who had sent Muhammad bin Qasim on his conquest. And, to hurt Hajjaj, Suleiman targets his nephew. Muhammad bin Qasim, the conqueror of Sindh, is recalled to Iraq. Whispers of misconduct and betrayal swirl around him. His victories mean nothing now. He is a pawn, caught in the gears of political vengeance. Upon his return, Muhammad bin Qasim is cast into a dark, suffocating prison cell. The walls seem to whisper the anguish of the countless souls he oppressed, their unavenged suffering seeping into the very stones. His youthful arrogance, his ruthless ambition, and the temples he razed to the ground, all seem to weigh on him, pressing against his mind with a crushing force. Time slows to a crawl in that cold, damp cell. The air is thick with the scent of decay, as if fate itself mocks him, forcing him to breathe in the stench of his own impending doom. He can feel the shadows of divine retribution growing longer, curling around his feet, ready to drag him into oblivion. His once steely resolve melts away, replaced by a gnawing dread that burrows into his very bones. Then comes the punishment, a reckoning so cruel, so deliberate that it seems ordained by a higher power. He is bound tightly in raw ox hides, the same hides that his conquering armies once trampled upon in disdain. The irony is sharp, like a dagger turning slowly in his heart. As the hides dry, they shrink, pulling tighter with every passing moment. His ribs strain, his chest heaves desperately, but there is no escape. The leather constricts like the grip of karma itself, tightening around his body with merciless precision. His breath comes in ragged gasps, each one a batter. His breath comes in ragged gasps, each one a battle he cannot win. The air he once took for granted turns traitor, abandoning him just as he abandoned mercy in his campaigns. His eyes bulge in terror, his screams are muffled, strangled by the relentless squeeze of the shrinking hide. The agony is excruciating. His lungs burning like the fires he set upon cities and temples. He suffocates slowly, the torment stretching out like an eternity. The pain he inflicted on the innocent now coils back upon him. A relentless serpent of justice. His cries for mercy are swallowed by the void, just as the cries of his victims had been ignored beneath his boots. The conqueror, who once stormed the gates of ancient cities, now meets a death as humiliating as it is agonizing. At just 20 years old, Muhammad bin Qasim's fate is sealed, not by the hands of men, but by the cold, inexorable hands of divine judgment. It is a death crafted with poetic irony, a mirror of the torment he unleashed upon others. His legacy of conquest is buried with him, smothered in the same cruel embrace that claimed his final breath. The message is clear. No invader escapes the reckoning of destiny. The wheels of divine justice may turn slowly, but they grind exceedingly fine. Muhammad bin Qasim's story is a chilling reminder etched in the indelible pages of history. No invader escapes the judgment of fate. Empires rise and fall, temples can be desecrated, and cities can be plundered, but justice, though patient and silent, never forgets. It waits in the shadows, watching the arrogance of those who believe they can rewrite destiny with the edge of a sword, and, when the time is right, it strikes with a precision that echoes through eternity. He came with the swagger of a conqueror, eyes blazing with youthful ambition, hands stained with the ruin of ancient cultures. He believed his victories would grant him immortality, but the pages of his legacy were soaked in the blood of innocence. In the end, he did not leave with a triumphant roar. He left with the strangled silence of the damned, a silence that speaks louder than the clash of any battle. Let this be a lesson to those who seek power through destruction. For every act of cruelty, the universe holds a reckoning. The wheels of divine justice turn slowly, grinding the pride of tyrants into dust. No man who brings ruin upon others can escape the ruin awaiting him. At Enigmatic Ends, we unveil these forgotten truths, these echoes of divine retribution that history has tucked away. Subscribe and journey with us as we explore how fate ensures that no conqueror ever truly escapes the hands of destiny, because behind every end lies a secret waiting to be revealed.